Hey guys, I wasn't particularly planning on making this, but because a couple people asked me, and there really isn't a recent resource on POTK unit upgrading, I figured I'd just make a quick video on it. Well, we'll see how quick it goes. It really depends on how lucky I get. As all of you know, I do all of these in one shot and do very little, if no editing at all. But today we are going to be raising my Paracelsus to 6 stars. She is an awakened unit. She's not particularly powerful until she gets her awakened status, but we're going to get there eventually. Right now I have 50 dupes on her, which means that if I quick go over to the fusion screen, you'll see all these red numbers have been maxed out, which just means that those particular stats themselves can't go any higher through fusing of stat dolls. I'm going to just quick finish maxing this out. If I could find my dolls, here we go. Once you can't use the dolls anymore, they disappear from your from being able to see them. And I'm just gonna throw a quick Paracelsus in there because I don't feel like watching it fail multiple times, and I can afford to do that. Something you should note: since I used Paracelsus's dupes in order to limit break her 4 times as a 4-star unit, this means that I do not have to use 5-star fairies or more 5-star dupes when she becomes a 5-star in order to limit break her that level. Unit dupes will carry over between 4-star and 5-star and to 6-star. Whereas if you use 4-star fairies on the 4-star unit, you're going to have to either use 5-star fairies or you're going to have to use unit dupes on the 5-star unit. So generally speaking, if you have dupes, it's okay to use them at 4-star. If you don't have any dupes and you're using fairies, you're going to want to make sure that use your 4-star fairies for a 4-star unit and then use 5-star fairies on the 5-star unit. And I believe if you do have dupes and you have a 5-star unit, the unit has to be 5 stars in order for the dupe to limit break. You basically have to have the same star count, I believe. That, or you have to have a higher star count. Anyways, we're going to quick go through with this. And that'll finish maxing out her stats. Generally speaking, you're going to want to raise your stats after you level up to 70 instead of at level 1, but I frankly don't care because the stat dolls that I used aren't super important. I've got a ton of them anyways, so I'm not going to use any of my super seeds right now. We got them recently for an event. I'm actually going to move it so that way I can more easily. There it is. So I have one that's at 199. I like to stack my rainbow seeds so that way I don't have to change them out every single time. Alright, so I've got my rainbow seed. I have my Paracelsus. We're going to start by maxing out her 4-star. So quick go over here to event quests. Where is it? There it is. So I like to use this one for my 4-star. It's a 1 thing daily, but if you use it on a 4-star unit and it's them alone, you can just quick max them out and you don't have to really bother with it all that much. So just a quick double check, make sure I have everything that I need. Rainbow Seed on. Honestly, you really don't need the Rainbow Seed for 4-star sometimes, but I just like to put it on because I don't like to redo things if I don't have to. Rainbow Seeds are easy enough to get. There's no reason to not use it, honestly. And you can just use it if you have a archer unit or something and you're afraid they're going to get cornered in. You can always use a mercenary on this. It doesn't really matter. You should still get level 70 regardless. It's doing this. The AI sometimes does this where it won't move towards an enemy for some reason. And for those of you wondering, yes, Paracelsus is one of my favorite units in the game, design-wise. I think she just has a nice and sleek design. Super classy. And while I do this, I'm actually pulling up a website right now so I can just double check her base stats against the what they can be. You don't really have to do this. You can just use the in-game. I just like it because then I don't have to worry about it as much. Once again, I'm just kind of lazy. So she is now level 70. So now we're going to... Oops, wrong one. Okay, which one is it? So we're now going to check her stats here. Alright, so she's 69 out of 79, 70 out of 71. I don't know exactly why the website I have the... Oh, I know why. It's because that isn't a dex. Okay, never mind. It's actually kind of nice my luck got maxed out. Anyways, these should be good stats. What we're going to do now is we're going to use our Parara dolls. And we're going to need 1 tech to put us up to 71. We're going to need 2 speed to put us up to 71. Next, we're going to use 2 attack dolls in order to put us to 61. And how many dolls do I have left? 3. That's not enough for the extra HP, but honestly, that's really not that important. Is there any other stats that I can up right now? I don't think there's any other stats that I can raise up another tier, so I'm just going to stop there. So you'll notice that I just went 1 above the 70 on each of these and 1 above 60 on this. So let's fuse them here real quick into her. And take a quick look at her stats, just so that way you can understand what I did and why I did it. So we're going to look here at her stats. So the max attack she can get is 65, the max speed she can get is 79, and the max tech she can get is 71. You need to make sure you are 1 point above the base 10 of whatever stat you have. So since it's 79 is her max speed, you need to make sure you have 71 speed. This will ensure that she maximizes her speed. You're going to want to do this at all ranks, but honestly, it's not always necessary at 4-star. When you go into 5-star, sometimes it is mandatory that you have maxed a stat in 4-star, or you're actually going to lose out on a stat. In Paracelsus's case, the only stat that she would actually lose out on is HP, which I didn't max anyways. But I got all the stats that mattered, and it should help me raise her stats in the next when she's a 5-star. So I am happy with this. Since I only have 3 more, I can't raise her HP up by 1 more. So we're going to evolve her into a 5-star unit now. So she is now a 5-star unit, and as you will notice, her max level is 80, and that's because I did use dupes of her earlier. Once again, that is important. If you use dupes of the unit, it will carry over into 5-star, which will in turn carry over into 6-star. So I'm just going to go ahead and fuse my stat dolls in right now, because I am a lazy mofo. But instead of just fusing stat dolls in, I can actually just fuse Paracelsus dupes in because I have so many. But I am not going to... I'm going to make sure I leave at least 10 of them for reasons I'll go over in a little bit. I already maxed that. Where's my speed doll? And I just max all the stats because I can. You don't really have to do that. And I guess I can go ahead and fuse these in while I'm at it. These are just innocents. You don't have to worry about these right now. I don't plan on going over innocents in this video. So, as you can see, I just went and maxed out all my stats. I'm doing this a little out of order. Like I said before, you're normally going to want to do this afterwards because you do have the opportunity to save yourself some dolls, but this is really only important if you're a newer player. If you're an older player, it doesn't matter that much. And this is just going to make sure that I can clear the map that I want to clear. Alright, so Paracelsus is ready to further race. Now, you're going to want to skip ahead in this video because I am going to raise her up to level... Actually, you know what? Screw it. I don't need keys. Keys are for chumps. That and I'm lazy. So I'm going to drop a 10 key right now. Normally, I would just use the elemental stage, but I'm just going to do this in one swoop and just be done with it. Because I can be. Once again, you don't normally want to do this. Normally you want to save your keys for your level 90 attempts, unless you are, of course, unless, of course, you have to hit stats at level for your 5-star in order to maximize your 6-star in a stat area that's hard to get. But, yeah, in general, you don't have to do this, but I'm just going to do it just to be easy. I can spare 20 or 10 keys. Alright. Stage clear. Let's see if I hit my numbers. The 10 key stage will always net you level 90. The 50 key stage will always net you level 100, in case you were curious. Level 100 are awakened units like Paracelsus is, but I only need to do that once she's actually awakened. Those are some dubious stat gains right there. Her tech did not look like it turned out well. But we'll check it. Alright, so I have 10 Pararas. My speed gain was actually pretty nice, but my tech gain was abysmal. My attack gain wasn't great either, to be honest. And I should have charged up the seed before I started. Whatever. Alright, so let's say that you're not happy with the stats that you got, which I'm kind of not, because if you notice, no matter how many per hours I put in, I can't raise my tech up to 91, and that's a problem. That's a big problem, which means I'm going to have to re-roll this. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to rebirth her. So basically, I'm going to re-roll the stats. Now, before I do that, let's say I want to, let's say, like, just in case this goes poorly, and this is the best roll I can get, you're going to want to hit this purple thing right here, and click a slot. And I'm going to pay one of these, I think they're re-ribbons, but I'm not 100% sure if that's what they're called. And you'll notice if I press this circular button up here, it'll actually show the same stats that I have right now. So I can either rebirth into this level 80 Paracelsus, or I can rebirth into a level 1 and start from scratch, which I'm going to do quick. Alright. Let's see if I can do a better job this time. I'll use the keys again because screw it. And we're hoping for more than 49 tech growth. That was bad. Just something to note also, speed is the stat that matters the most in this game, so if you max any stat, make sure it's speed. That was also pretty bad. I am probably gonna have to redo that again. And I'll show you why. So, you'll notice that I'm going to need to use 8 Pararos in order to get myself up to 101 speed. But then I'm going to also need to use an additional 9 in order to get my tech up to 91. And then if I wanted to raise my attack, I'd have to raise it by 2 in order to get it. However, I am going to save this, however, because in this particular situation, I can get my attack up by 1, I can get my speed up by 1, and I can actually just sack 1 tech stat, and it shouldn't be that big of a deal, to be honest. So I'm going to quick sack this, or rather save it, I mean. So you'll notice now that I've resaved it over, the thing that I can turn into has changed. And this is only really affecting the max stats. I'm probably not going to get a max tech stat anyways on her 6-star. Just to be completely honest with you guys, I probably won't. So we'll try one more time. Let's just see if we can get anything remotely better. And if not, we'll just move on. I can always just re-roll my Paracelsus by just fusing what I have right now into a new Dex one and just starting over from scratch if I absolutely have to. So that is always an option. Now, if you have like a rarer unit than Paracelsus, then that's probably not a good idea, but since she's an Awakened unit and she needs 99 dupes anyways, I've still got like 35 dupes to like which I can fix her with. Although, I'm not sure if you can fix it after you awaken them, because I think you can only get the awaken mat once, but I'd need to check on that. So let's see, did we actually manage it this time? Did we get anything good? It's better in some ways and worse than others. I'll actually probably go back to the last one, because I still can't get my speed and my tech stat both up by 1. And I lost my ability to get my attack stat up by 1. I think I also lost some luck too. Yeah. I'm not so much of a min-maxer in this game, to be honest, so it's not super concerning to me, in all honesty. So we're going to go back into the screen here. And we're going to go back over here. And yeah, this is just a better roll in general. I don't know how many resources that I have to dump into one tech stat. But honestly, one tech at the very end isn't going to matter that much. So now I've re-rolled back into this other set of stats. And we're going to quick go in here. And we're going to drop Pararos into her now. And we're going to start off by dropping 8 into speed. And And we're going to drop 2 into attack. I kind of wish I had an extra one, which I could drop into HP, but I don't. So this is going to have to do. It's not super ideal. It definitely could be better. But you also have to remember that Paracelsus, this particular one, is considered an older unit, which means her growths aren't as good as some of the newer units are. But it's honestly not too bad. Unless you're min-maxing, this should be fine. Alright, so now her speed has been, she has max speed, and that's what's important. Once again, that is the most important stat. Having that 101 speed is important. Having the attack at 81 is actually not too bad either. And only losing 1 tech over this whole thing is not, it's not that bad. And I'm only losing 1 luck too. So, gonna quick drop a new seed onto her. And just double check here before I go through with it. Because even though I can technically fix her, I kind of want to show it being done right the first time so I don't have to remake this video later. Which I'll probably end up having to do anyways. Alright, so she's now going to be a 6-star unit. So, unlike with the 5-star and 4-star units, you lose nothing by just dropping all of your stat dolls into her early. And I am actually going to drop stat dolls into her right now because there's something else I want to show you guys. And I have to drop a shitload of HP dolls. Ouch. Okay, so if we just go over here and look at her stats. The max speed she can have as a 6-star unit, non-awakened unit, is 128, which means I did my job and I can max her speed. The max tech she can have is 138, which means I missed one. Max luck is 74, I missed one. Max attack is 97, which means I got that one dead on. I don't have her dupes maxed out yet, so I don't have her access to her max HP, but I did get pretty close regardless. I know it's not going to be 100% because I definitely missed some. And those are really the only stats that matter on this particular unit. So we are going to go ahead and do one more key stage, just so I can get her up, and then I'll show you the next part. Alright, so this is actually the hardest part of raising any unit, and that's the 6-star stat max. And I'm not going to show you me maxing out her stats because that could take a while. It depends on how lucky you are, really. The only thing I can make sure to say is always make sure you have a rainbow seed equipped. Other than that, it's just a matter of how many keys you're willing to drop, how much AP are you willing to drop, and how much time are you willing to drop. Wow, that was actually really good tech growth, but really awful freaking speed growth. I'm gonna definitely have to redo this. Cause as it stands right now, I can't actually max her speed. I need her speed to be at least 128 because if I remember correctly, the most you can per hour. Actually, wait, maybe not. Let me double check. Maybe it is fine. I can't remember if you're maxed at 10 per hour per stat or not. No, I can put all 12 in. So if I put all 12 in, that actually puts me at 128, which is the bare minimum I need. I'm definitely going to re-roll this, though, because I can probably do better and max out the tech and the speed at the same time. So I'm not going to actually keep this most likely, and I might be able to get a better roll on the attack. Who knows? It's not a bad first attempt at all. It really isn't. But we're going to move into something else now. So now that we have... now that we've rolled it, I'm going to skip adding my priors for now. We're going to do the character quests. And the reason we do the character quest is because this is going to unlock some extra skills for us. So I'm just going to run these real quick. Because there's something that you need to understand about about how you get from episode 2 to episode 3. We're going to run my good team, which is my mostly win team, plus whatever unit on the end I feel like using. My win team is without a doubt my strongest team. I know this is getting to be a long video, so for those of you who are still sticking around to learn, thanks for sticking around. This is mostly just a tutorial. I'm gonna skip the dialogue. Okay, so that was that was the first quest. Now we run the second one. I did not read what I just pressed, by the way, so please don't hold it against me. And when doing these, you can get your hands on some nice pictures. The Discord for PotK, the Japanese PotK Discord, has a link that has access to all of the characters and their pictures from these quest lines. So I just got a new skill, and it looks like this one's a buff. Most of the time they're dual skills, to be honest. Dual skill is a skill that activates when you're fighting someone, and generally that's where units get most of their damage from. The difference between activating a dual skill and not is a lot of damage. So normally, under normal circumstances, what you would do here, because this doesn't always open up like this, you would have to max the dual skill that you got from the second quest, and that is why I kept those dupes. So, generally speaking, you're going to want to unlock all the skills that you can before you start fusing your dupes in, if you want to save some resources, but that also isn't mandatory either. And I'm not exactly sure why it's not. Do I already have all my skills maxed? I might already have all my skills maxed. Okay, so normally you wouldn't have all your skills maxed at this point, but it looks like I do. So there is an item called a skill doll in this game, and what you do is there are blue ones, green ones, red ones, and yellow ones, and there are also some pink ones, but the pink ones the pink ones apply to a very specific skill that lets you use extra pararas, and only certain units have that, so most of the time you're not going to use pinks. The majority of the time you're only going to be using blue and greens. Sometimes reds or yellows, but mostly blues and greens. And you're going to need to dump 10 blues or 9 blues or however many blues you need into the dual skill in order to max it out to gain access to the third quest. You're then going to go and complete the third quest, and it's going to give you your final character skill. And at that point, your character is more or less done except for the min-maxing portion. But there is one more thing I'm going to quick go over, and that is your weapon mastery. So, my Paracelsus is a C rank in swords, and I want to change that. So we're going to quick go and find some garbage sword for her to use. It just has to be, you just have to make sure you're using a weapon. And it's really easy. This is just another key quest. We're going to come over here to the keys. And we're going to scroll down to this one right here. Because you can't see where my cursor is, it's this, it's the one in the dead middle of my screen here with the copper-looking keyhole and like the Minotaur-looking, like the skeleton Minotaur-looking thing in the background, right below the Fate Stay Night UBW dungeon. We are going to unlock the 5-key one. The 5-key is going to net you an S rank in whatever single weapon of your choice is. We're going to quick go into the quest here. Go back over to my Paracelsus. Just double check and make sure that she has the sword on, because I'm paranoid like that. And we can go ahead and start. And what this is going to do is it's going to up my swords to S rank. Honestly, it's a bit of a waste for me to do this for you guys, because once Once Paracelsus is awakened, she actually will gain access to a second equip slot. So I could S rank two different pieces of equipment at the same time instead of just doing one. But what the heck, I don't care. Once again, these aren't resources that are incredibly hard for me to get at this point. For those of you who have been curious, I've been playing since I want to say April, and I'm completely free to play. I have not spent a dime on this game. There is also a AP based one where it's like you don't need the keys in order to unlock it. It's just not as effective, and you have to use more AP than you would otherwise. And right now there's a ton of events going on, and I value my AP a lot, so I'd rather save it. So I'm S rank now, which means I can now equip 6 and 7-star weapons. And the reason I want to do this for Paracelsus is because all Awakened units do have their own unique weapon. The weapon is actually based on the character, so I could use the Lost Ragnarok version of Paracelsus and still use this weapon. But here it is in all its glory. I haven't upped its rank or anything yet, but it does have like a lot of attack considering it's just rank 1. And just like that, my Paracelsus is more or less ready to go. And that is the basic gist of how you level up a unit. The steps that I told you I skipped, I told you why I skipped them. For this, not every unit is the same. Different units are going to require different things, but this is a good general idea of how to raise a unit from scratch. Some units are definitely harder to min-max than others. There's really no point in me min-maxing my Paracelsus right now because she's still not quite ready for prime time. I'll go ahead and fuse all but one dex dupe into her right now, just in case I want to go back later and try to get that last tech, although honestly I probably won't. I'll probably also start raising my Lost Ragnarok Paracelsus. I'll probably get a dex one today or tomorrow, because I have a pick ticket and I can get one, and I'll just use that to, I think I can get it, like, I can almost get her max 15 innocence so she can get her CC3. I know that doesn't mean a lot to people who are actually here learning, but, 75, ooh, that's gonna be really close. I might be like a dupe or two short at the end of the month. That'd make me kind of sad. Maybe I should start doing her daily thing, just so that way I know I have enough. And I know that some people might be screaming, go buy the dupes for the rare medals if you're only 1 or 2 short. Well, I already bought all 10 of them. That's the reason I'm that close to begin with. And just in case anyone was wondering what her artwork looks like after she's awakened, it's really good. I really, really like this artwork. So there you have it, guys. That's really all I have to say on this subject. I know this was a doozy, a super long one. Upgrading your units can take a while. There is some RNG surrounding it. But if you take the time to do it right, you're definitely going to be rewarded with some powerful units. Even my Paracelsus, as she is right now, is still good tower fodder. She can go into tower, at least do a little bit of damage, and die to something that has damage reflect. But that's unfortunately all she's good for right now. But maybe not so in the future. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching as always, and I will see you next time.